Have you ever seen a blur go straight past you? You look down, you see a single wheel. These are electric unicycles, and today we're going to get you started on how to ride them. Electric unicycles, also known as EUCs, they may look intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of them, once you're used to them, there's no feeling like it. They're not scary, they're nice, simple, easy, effective and efficient. This is why we at Escooter Clinic have made this guide. We're going to go over 3 things: what safety gear you need, what EUC is right for you to begin with, whether you got one sitting in the box, whether you got one on the way, or whether you haven't placed an order yet, and we're going to go over the basic steps on how to get you riding. So sit tight, relax and enjoy the video. So guys, let's get started with the main key factor. What wheel are you going to start on? Now there's a lot of wheels out there. There's a wide variety. Some are off-road, some are road variants, some are targeted towards range, portability, being lightweight, heavy. There's so many different brands, but let's talk about some key factors that help you decide what you really need. So if you're on a bit of a budget, of course you're going to want to start on a bit of a smaller wheel. There's a wide variety out there. Some are a bit mid-range, some are really small and compact. I'll walk you through them. For small and compact wheels, I'd recommend something like an Inmotion V5 or V8. Small, friendly, lightweight. It's got a speaker built in, trolley handle, every single thing that you kind of need to get started for your everyday convenience, shopping, etc. Then you have some mid-tier kind of solutions. You've got the Inmotion V9, which has a bit of suspension. You've got the KingSong S16 and S16 Pro, which you'll see in this video. My recommendation would be choose what suits you. If you've not got the budget for getting a higher end wheel, go for a bit of a lower end wheel. You'll still keep it around, you'll still use it, and by the time you've learned, you may have had 1 or 2 small little drops of the wheel. Those scratches won't affect you as much as when you spent £3,000 to £4,000 on a wheel. You could look after what you've got in the long term. Everything is individualized to the specific user. It's based on your use case, what you need it for, how heavy does it need to be, how far do you need to go, and what's your budget. Those 4 determining factors make all the difference. So when it comes to EUC gear, there's a couple things you need to consider. There's 4 key factors that everyone should wear, and there's some optionals that you can obviously consider and go for. Now, the main key factor is a helmet. You need to protect your head no matter what. Your brain is the most important part of the human body. So anything that can help you absorb the impact, whether that be a half-shell helmet or full-face helmet, as long as you have a helmet, you can ride. Now, half-shell helmets are good, but when you become a bit more experienced or you're doing some more dareful things, you do want to protect your chin, which is why I have something like a flip-down helmet. But there's lots of out there. You've got MTB, you've got MX helmets, you've got full-face motorcycle helmets, half-shell helmets with chin bars. There's so many out there, but as long as you got a helmet, you're good to go. The next key thing is knee pads or knee braces. Your knees are the first thing to hit the ground if you do land forwards, and of course we don't want an accident to happen, but they can. So these are super important for you to get back out riding as well as walking after having an accident or crash. Number 3, wrist guards or gloves. Wrist guards and gloves are very important because they are another key factor that will hit the ground when you have an accident. With an EUC, you don't have handlebars, which means that you have your hands ready to go and absorb the impact, but you want them to be safe so they don't get scraped along the floor and they don't get impacted, so you can still ride, type and get on with your day-to-day life without any injuries. And then finally, the other key factor that needs to be considered is elbow guards, something that will help with any grazes or sudden impacts, so that then if you are leaning into a wall during an accident or hitting the floor, all 4 key aspects of your body are covered. Now, some optional extras out there are things like neck braces, chest armor and back armor. Now, if you are a crazy rider, you want to go a bit fast, you're a bit daring, back protectors, chest protectors, in my opinion, is a must. However, if you're just lightly cruising, you're commuting, that kind of thing, you're not being too reckless or dangerous where to an extent, if you do fall, you won't get too heavily injured. I wouldn't say it's too big a stress. So those are a couple things that are optional or should be used if you're a bit of an extreme rider, and those are the other 4 aspects that need to be considered and worn at all times when riding EUC. Cool, so Anas, to get started on riding your EUC, there's 4 key factors you need to keep in mind. 1, you need to find a nice flat area to ride on. To get practice, get started, you don't want to be on any inclines or hills, you want to be nice and flat. Okay. Number 2, make sure your EUC is fully charged. Okay? Number 3, you need to make sure you're wearing your gear, your helmet, etc. Anything that you need, you got to have it on you. And number 4, you need to have someone that you can either support you, or you need to have someone that knows how to ride to give you some guidance, so that then you don't learn any bad tendencies, you get the tips and tricks, which we will teach you in this video either way. There's many different ways you can learn how to ride an EUC. I'm going to go through a couple different types. Obviously everyone's different and everyone learns in different ways, so keep that in mind. So first of all, what I would say is, what is your dominant foot? The best way to figure that out is to stand side by side, and whatever foot you use to take a step initially is what you would use to mount the EUC. So that's your right foot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So essentially what you're going to want to do is mount on with your right foot. When you first get onto the EUC, it's going to feel a bit weird. The weight will be distributed in a certain way. What you're going to want to do is push the EUC into your upper leg. By pushing it up into your upper leg, it helps you counterbalance it so you can mount it with the other leg.
Like into my shin?
Exactly that.
Okay.
It will take a bit of time to get used to, but once you learn how to balance out your weight, it's one of the key factors of how to ride. That and leaning. So essentially what you do, you mount, you push it against your upper leg, and then you hop on with your other foot. Similar to a bike, you can't just stand in one position on an EUC. You need to be doing multiple things at once, such as steering, pedaling, etc. on a bike. So what you would want to do is put slight pressure towards your toes or lean a little bit forward. But before we get ahead of ourselves, there's one key determining factor on learning how to ride EUC. You don't want to be looking down. You're going to want to look at a fixed point or somewhere in the distance where you're not paying attention to your foot placement, etc. You're just paying attention to getting to that destination. That's the quickest way to learn how to ride a EUC. There's multiple different ways to learn how to ride. I'll be going over a couple of them today. You can hold on to the wall and use that as a counterbalance, so you can kind of hold on and push against it to see how you will react. This can at some point make you a bit dependent, so keep that in mind. If you're someone that already rides something like a scooter or a bike, you might want to learn away from a wall, so that then you're more used to the aspect of not using your hands. The first way, like I mentioned, hold on to the wall and just mount it softly. Kind of get your foot position, get used to it, and then fixate on a point. Once you're fixated on that point, put a little bit of pressure down and see how you feel when you're moving straight. Obviously it'll be a bit weird, but you'll get used to it. How's that sound so far? I'm
scared, but I think I've got it.
It's scary to begin with, but once you get it, you'll love it. You'll feel like Superman at the end. So this is the KingSong S16 Pro, one of the unicycles I mentioned to begin with. It's a nice, manageable price at the same time as having a little bit of performance to it. So now we're going to get Anas to start. So what you want to do is turn on the EUC via its dedicated power button. And then lift it, and then lift it into a straight position. You'll feel the motor engage and it will balance itself out.
What's that beeping?
That is the kill switch. So some EUCs have a kill switch that allow you to disengage the balance so you can take it upstairs, etc. Now, what you want to do is put your dominant foot on to the pedal. Make sure to keep your non-dominant foot behind the wheel so you can push off and get the leverage you need.
Okay.
Now, you would want to put a bit of force against the wall, push off nice and strong, and counteract it with the wheel pushing it into your upper shin. Now, balance out straight.
Now what?
Awesome. Now, remember that key point that I mentioned to you. Look forward, focus on someone or something in the distance. So look at me, focus straight. You don't want to be looking down, you want to be trying to get to me. So at that same time as you're balancing, you want to be putting a little bit leverage towards your toes and leaning a little bit forward. Remember, keep your eyes on me. There you go. Don't look down. There you go, look good. It's instinct for you to look down at what you're riding, but you want to try avoid it. You want to focus on something in front of you. Now, what you want to do is twist around, hold onto the wall with both hands to try and get your balance. Just twist the tire, you'll feel it with your hips. As you twist, it'll move with you.
What?
There you go. Awesome. Cool. Now give that a couple tries, get used to it, and then we'll try move on to the other method of teaching if this one isn't really working out for you. As you can see, you're using your arm to push against the wall a lot as you're leaning towards the right-hand side. You want to avoid leaning towards the right-hand side as much as possible. You want to center yourself out. How are you finding the wall method?
It's all right. Obviously, I feel safe because there's a wall here.
Okay, in that sense, I would say let's try our second method. The second method in which we can use to practice and learn how to ride an EUC would be to have a friend or someone that can hold on to you. So my preferred method is to either hold someone from the front, so they're holding onto your hands, so they're not balancing left or right, they're focusing on being central. If that isn't comfortable and you want to have someone like away from you, but you're still getting support, if you hold them from the back, it allows you to guide them in a nice way at the same time as they can fixate on a point and feel like there's nothing in their way. So that's the second method. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because you don't want to be leaning on someone on the side. Otherwise, I feel like you'll lose your balance, right?
Exactly
so if
that.
someo's holding you in the center.
Like I mentioned from the first point, if you're used to holding on to something in the first place, it doesn't make sense for you to hold left and right because then you get too dependent. Last thing you want is in an emergency to try hold on to a wall because that'll put you off balance.
Okay.
So this is a demonstration of using someone as a shoulder support. Similar to the wall, if someone's struggling to balance left and right, you want to try avoid it. You want to start going from the front or the back. Let me just quickly help you dismount. So to dismount, you want to push all your weight towards your dominant side and then hop off with your opposite foot. Like.
Okay, wrong way.
It takes a bit of practice, you'll get used to it. We'll try the dismount on your next attempt. So now, what I want you to do is look up and focus, look at me, and then hold on to my hands so that then you have some support. Okay. Now, you want to hop on with your non-dominant foot. There you go. And remember, like a bike, you need to be moving. So look forward, there you go, and balance. You got it, you got it. Back straight.
Okay.
Look forward, there you go. So this is a bit more difficult than the wall, but it helps you learn how to balance between your two legs.
I feel like I need more speed.
You want to move a little bit faster?
Okay, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, this feels a bit better.
There you go. See how you're stabilizing a bit?
Yeah,
Look up. There you go.
Okay.
Cool. Now, to dismount, push all your weight into your dominant leg, push the wheel against it, and then hop off with your non-dominant foot. There you go. Cool.
Nice.
Now we'll do it from the opposite way, so you've got nothing in front of you, you feel a bit more confident, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, push off with your non-dominant foot. There you go, I got you. And gain a little bit of speed. Put a bit of weight behind you. Move kind of with your toes towards the front of the wheel, and you can get it. Straighten your back a bit. There you go. Remember, when you're riding EUC, you don't want to be too tense. You want to be a little bit free-flowy. That way, as you can see, I can let go a little bit and you still have a little bit of confidence. There you go. You're gaining a bit of speed now.
I'm doing it.
This is our second attempt. Let's give it a go. Ready? So push off with your left foot and gain a bit of momentum. And then I'll grab onto you to give you a bit of support. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. You got it? Now focus at the fixed point in front of you.
Oh my God.
Back straight.
Okay.
There you go. You got it. Do you want me to try let go?
Okay, let's see.
Let's see.
Oh my God. Okay, I feel like I need to go a bit faster so that I'm not wobbling so much, you know?
Keep in mind, the faster that you go, the more stabilized you feel. But there are aspects of riding that I haven't prepared you for yet. There's things such as speed wobbles that are naturally part of riding an EUC or electric unicycle. To counteract the speed wobble, you need to remember a couple key factors. You want to either try accelerate a little bit more so that then it kind of counteracts the speed wobble. It basically speeds through it. The other aspect of it is learning how to carve. So carving is when you distribute your weight left and right, and that pushes the speed wobble out of the way essentially. Obviously, everyone deals with wobbles a certain way, but braking is a no-no. If you brake suddenly while speed wobbling, it puts you off balance, because the slower you go, the more wobbly you are. So there's 3 common mistakes made by EUC riders. I'll walk you through them right now. So number 1, once you're used to riding or going in a straight line, even if it's wobbly, don't hold on to anything. Holding on to a banister, etc. can put you off a balance and can sometimes cause more of an injury. If you're going at some slight speed and you hold on to the wall or hold on to a banister, etc., it can pull you back, meaning that you would slide against the ground and the wall. So try avoid it. Once you know how to ride, have confidence in yourself. Just go in a straight line, not holding onto anything. It's best to use an open environment so you're not doing that. Number 2, try not to look down while you're riding. Especially when you're new, having a fixed point to look at helps massively in terms of maintaining your balance and going in a straight line. So avoid looking down, look in a straight line, and you'll learn 10 times easier. Number 3, when you're dismounting the wheel, you're going to want to push the wheel against your dominant leg. So you're distributing the weight against the leg that stays on the wheel, and take your foot off of the wheel. You don't want to hop off with both legs. You essentially want to take one leg off at a time, just like you would a scooter. You don't hop off a scooter with both legs, you put one foot down. Same thing with an EUC. So imagine these are your legs and the wheels between them. What you want to do is you want to push the wheel slightly into your dominant leg, so you change the difference of balance, and then you pop your non-dominant foot off the wheel. So Anas, I've taught you how to go in a straight line, whether that be via the wall method or by holding on. Now, the most fundamental aspect is turning. You know how to go in a straight line, you need to learn how to turn left and right. There's a couple different ways of learning how to turn left and right, so I'll go through them. One would be to centralize your weight on your feet only and use your legs to disperse which way you're turning. So if you're leaning towards the right-hand side, using your ankle as a pivot point, you can lean to the right. If you let go and lean to the left, you will lean to the left. Pretty much you want to stop hugging the wheel and you want to distribute your weight in certain directions. So I'll give you a quick demonstration and I'll go over the other aspects of turning. So as you can see, when I'm coming up to a turn, if I want to lean to the left, I distribute all my body weight to the left, like this. So my left leg is kind of leaning outwards and I'm turning around to the left, like that. Same in the opposite direction. Now, another way that you can use to turn is lifting up your heel. Some people do this, some people don't. I'm someone that uses it in tight turns, but in normal situations, I lean with my legs instead. So when you want to do very tight turns, what you want to do is you want to lift up your heel and you'll move in that certain direction. So if I want to move to the right, I'll lift up my heel and I'll turn to the right. If I do the same to the left, I'll turn to the left. So if I want to turn to the right, what I'll do is I'll lift up my heel and I'll do a tight turn to the right. Same if I want to turn to the left.
You have more pressure on the toes, so you lean more like
exactly that. And then if you were doing big turns at high speeds, then the most preferred method is to use your upper legs. So you're putting all that weight outwards to whichever direction you want to go.
Nice, okay.
And that's how you turn.
All right.
Obviously, I'll give you some pointers, but we'll see how you do. So Anas, like I mentioned, when you're taking a big turn, you're going to want to distribute your upper body weight. Try to be disconnected from the wheel a little bit, so your feet are planted, but your legs are doing most of the work. Let's give it a bit of a try. So now, try take a left turn. You've got it.
Oh,
so what you're doing more there is you're putting more pressure towards one side, which is an effective method, but when you're taking big turns, you're going to want to distribute your legs. But understandable, as you're beginning, you're going to hug the wheel a lot more, so you'll have gradual turns like what you did there. Yeah. You'll have slight buffers in between where you notice you're somewhat turning but going straight. You'll get the hang of it.
All right, let me try to the right now.
Okay.
Oh, good. All right. I think it's easier on one side than the other.
So now that you've kind of tried out turning with your upper leg and upper body and pressure on either side, let's try using the heel.
All right.
So mount it like you would normally, and then lift your heel gradually in the direction you want to turn.
Okay.
So here you see, when you lift up your... It takes a bit of practice. It's okay, don't worry about it. There you go.
Oh.
So one last aspect that we need to cover is braking. When it comes to braking, you want to distribute your weight in the opposite direction. So going forward is leaning forward. When it comes to braking, you want to lean backwards. I'll show you in a basic way and a professional way, and we'll save the tips and tricks for a future video on showing how professionally you can ride. So now I'll demonstrate. When you want to brake in a soft manner, you want to just put a bit of weight backwards and you've stopped. I'll now show how to hard brake, but that's something that I'll teach properly in a professional video. So what you want to do is you want to distribute your weight fully back like if you're in a seated position. Of course, this is a professional manner of braking. I wouldn't do this without proper instruction or without getting used to riding first.
Let me give braking a try now. Hey, I think I'm ready to go for a ride, you know?
Let's go.
Thank you guys for watching me learn how to ride EUC. It's very scary at first, it is quite difficult, but honestly, I didn't fall down a single time today. I had great instructors. Just try it, get an EUC, and I'm telling you, you'll have so much fun. It was great. Damn.
And remember to keep in tune with Escooter Clinic on YouTube, because me and Anas will be featured in a lot more advanced EUC content when he gets a bit more practice, so keep that in mind. Remember to like,
subscribe,
and we'll see you in future videos. It's been Yassine and Anas. Take care.